Good morning, everybody. Sunday, January 20th, 2019. And I wanted to do something a little bit different and special today. One of the best people I've ever met in my entire life has just passed away. He passed away, I believe, Wednesday night. And I found out Thursday morning from a mutual friend of ours. Gene, you're my best friend. I met you when I was, 13? You were you were awesome, kid. You're the man, you're the myth, you're the legend, Gene Nazzarro. Anytime we were around you, it was something to behold. Your presence demanded, commanded respect. You were larger than life, and when you stepped in a room, people knew you were there. And the one thing I'm happy I can always say is, you're my best friend. You're one of my best friends in the world, Gene. And I will forever miss you. And you will forever be in my heart. I place you on a mantle very high that very few people in this world reside on. And you were definitely one of them, my friend. Crazy to think you're gone and how young you were. I mean, I know it had been a few years. Contact had been, sporadic. But everybody knows me. I got in my own stuff. I kind of worried about my life and started to grind and just put my head down. And I started to lose touch with the people closest to me. All my friends from back home, Gene, Justin, Chris, Ben, the list goes on and on. And, I did a really bad job, Gene, and I'm really sorry. I really wish I could have been a better friend in these fleeting years. But, it's the same old excuse. Had I known what I know today, I wouldn't have made the same decisions. But life wouldn't be where it is today, and who knows what happens. But I want to talk about my best friend. I want to talk about just his memory, his life, what he meant to me, what his family means to me. My heart goes out to them. Mr. and Mrs. Nazzarro, I'll love you. Excuse me. I will love you till my dying day. You always opened up your homes and your heart, and you loved everybody that loved your children. And you were as good to them, the parents, as you were to your own children. And for that, I know I am forever indebted. And I love you. And I'm just ripped apart about what you are going through. Anthony, thanks for being everybody's cool big brother. I know how much Gene loved you, and I know how much he looked up to you. Man, we all did. You were, like I said, you were our big brother. You definitely were. I can't tell people how to grieve, and I never would. But I know how I've been grieving, and the first day were a lot of tears, a lot of questions, and a lot of introspective, thoughts on my life, my decisions. And that's all you can do. Is it sounds selfish in that moment, but my best friend passing away caused me to look at my life in another, light, another avenue. I just needed to take a step back, and this was something that really, really got me away from the everyday thing we call life. Gene, You're not gone. I know you're not. You're still around. There's too much of you in this universe to know that you're gone. I mean, I know how I think about Gene, and I know how I know him. And when he talked to you and he gave you that advice and he sat you down and he wanted to give you, the love from his heart, just he would become so emotional and be so driven and so passionate. You know, if you know him like I did, those waterworks would start and he would well up and he would just pour his love into the words he was giving you. Excuse me. He would express those words with as much love as anybody I could ever imagine. And, with the decades of conversation that we had and the heart to hearts and the advice, I know I have enough of Gene's love radiating throughout me that he's given me over time, that he's with me forever. And I mean, some of those cognac nights when some of that emotion was a little ill-placed and his timing wasn't always right on when he wanted to sit down and have those heart-to-hearts and what the topics might be, or the place, or the discretion, or the volume. Gene might not have been the master of timing, but he definitely was the master of genuine. He was always genuine. Gene was a character guy, very high character. Loyalty was off the charts. And I knew if I needed him, he was there. Gene was always there. I could go without talking to him for a year. If I called him, 5 minutes of catching up and right back to like nothing ever changed. Sorry. But what can I say more about Eugene Nazzarro than the mere fact that that man loved life? He loved laughing. He loved his friends. He loved his family. He loved his cats, even though he was deathly allergic to them, and I never understood why he decided to keep them around all the time. You're a weird one, Gene. You always were. But we all are. That's why we gravitated towards each other. I know to you guys this might sound like rambling and this might be something, that wasn't needed. Some people might not think I had the right to do this, but, maybe you do. Who knows? This isn't for everybody. This was for me. This was for me to talk about my best friend. Gene was just everything, man. Like, Gene could be the coolest guy on the block. He could be the dorkiest dork, the biggest jock, the biggest nerd. He could be it all in one sitting. And it was awesome. It was awesome to be around him. That guy and he hated bullies. I remember that. I'll never forget that. Anytime shit would get a little harsher or anybody would decide to, take things to the next level, if Gene didn't feel like it was right and proper and it was fucking too far, he'd be the one to say something. Right, wrong, or indifferent. If he felt it was wrong, he definitely would speak his mind. And that courage and that devotion to right and righteousness, I look back at it now, and he definitely was somebody that instilled that in me. My pillar of being is definitely built on, my interactions with him, with our group of friends, the people we grew up with. But to me, Gene's a pillar of, the man I became today. Gene showed me to laugh when it was very difficult. And that's why with this, I wanted to do something completely different to remember my friend, to remember the man that I called a brother. A man that anybody would be proud and lucky to have call him friend. You know, for Gene to look at you and call you a friend, that was a high honor. That was a very high honor. And I cherish that. I don't believe you fucking went before all of us, Gene. I really don't. But I do kind of understand it. You were an asshole that way. And you loved so much. I don't think you could have hold on strong enough if one of us would have went. But you know we love you. You know you're in our heart. I'm not going to be able to make the service, and this is why I wanted to record this. You know, life in California is different. It's a little expensive, it's a little hard. Couple kids, some bills, and, you know, life just hits you. And when your friend passes away unexpectedly on a Wednesday, it's hard to just drop everything. But I'm okay with that because I know what love is, and I felt it. And I know he loved me, and I know he would be okay, because if it was roles were reversed, I know right now for a fact I'd be okay if none of my friends could make it. If my friends would not be able to make it to my funeral per se because they couldn't afford it because they're working and they're taking care of their families, do that. My body's gone, my soul's not, and that's how I feel about Gene. He's around us every day, and all the little smiles, and all the goofy, weird laughs, and every bad critic out there on music, if it's not metal and rock, and doesn't have some talent based, and it's rap, it was crap. That was Gene. That dude would tell you what was on his mind if you asked him. And if he didn't like your music, he'd tell you too. But Gene never made anybody feel bad. Not like that. He would never want to hurt anybody. He was the softest, most gentlest person I think I've ever met. He was my road dog. Anytime I came home on leave, anytime he came to visit me, California, Virginia, when I was down there, I mean, we had a blast. Gene was never really ready for the debauchery, but we made it work. We had a good time. We always have memories. Spark me up a little bowl here. I know you didn't smoke, Geno, but this one's for you, brother. I love you. I miss you. And I know I'll see you again. But I know you're around every day, so I don't worry too much about it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, am I going to have to be the elephant in the room? Or am I the one that says, you know, dude rooted for the worst football team ever. He dropped dead before he ever saw him win a Super Bowl. I fucking told him it was going to happen. Goddamn Jets. Told you, Gene. Should have been a Pats fan, brother. Totally should have been a Pats fan. It's going to suck knowing that my kids aren't going to be able to really meet their Uncle Gene and have a beer with him and get some old stories from us as kids, and give them life lessons. You know, I wanted Gene to grow old with us and be there for all of our kids, so we can tell them all those weird, ridiculous stories, all those nights out with Rosa and Dietz at Q and Brew, any Newcastle story you wanted, any yak story. I mean, you name it, we had one. And I wanted that to come from you, Gene. I wanted you to tell my kids those stories. I wanted you to crack open a beer with them and make them laugh. Show him, when we were 65, we'd end up developing Tourette's. And you'd probably end up fucking only saying two things. Fuck Brady and goddamn Jets. And it would be the funniest thing ever. Because you'd be old and senile. But you'd be my best friend. And you'd still be here. Well, the Jets let you down all the time. And you cheered for them hard. I think that's where you learned your loyalty from. And they just kept letting you down. Year after year. I mean, the butt fumble kind of was everything. Like, that describes it all, right, Gene? The butt fumble. I feel like I've been rambling, but I know it was good for me to put this stuff down audio form, so you guys, if you wanted to hear it, fine. But I had to talk to you, Gene. I couldn't write this. I didn't know how. I know I was a bad friend lately, and I know that I didn't call. I know I didn't come home as much. I know life hit me, and I know these are a bunch of excuses. And you are now passed on, and I'll never get the chance to say any of this to your face. I just, deep down inside, truly believe that you know how much I love you, and you're okay with the time and the distance, because it's how we all are. That's how we all are, and that's how we've always been. I'll let you know, though, when I found out, I reached out to everybody. I talked to Justin. I talked to Chris. I talked to Christina. And everybody that mattered to me, that was my connection to you. I mean, there's more, but, the few people that I draw those lines directly to called me, and I won't fuck up anymore. All right? It might not be every day, might not be every month, but I will not go these times and this lengths without speaking to our group, Gene. I promise. I just really hope I didn't let you down. I always wanted you to be proud of me. You were one of those friends whose opinions mattered and always will. Because if you guys were ever disappointed in me, that's when I knew something was really wrong. When the people who loved me unconditionally were disappointed, I knew there was things that had to change. And you were one of those people, brother. We had our ups and downs, but that's the ride of the roller coaster, ain't it? The ebbs and flows, the ups, the downs. And fuck, was it a hell of a ride, Geno. Thank you for blessing me with your presence. I can't say it enough, Gene. Without you, I would not be me. That's a fact. My boys are good, Gene. They've heard about you. I talked about you this weekend. I had a beer for you. Couldn't do the cognac, bud. Couldn't. You're fucking gross. You've always been gross. That shit is gross. But I had a Newcastle for you. And no, I didn't eat a bowl full of macaroni and cheese with a wooden spoon. Or give you turn-by-turn directions in a blackout state. I love you, buddy. Remember that time? Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Gene, you remember those times. I know you do. The G-Town Brawlers, me, you, Deets, some other debauchery, and just a nice, almost parking lot riot. Pretty awesome, man. Or if Tanya, you're listening, You remember our night when I came to visit? That was always fun. That parking lot endeavor. That was my boy. That's what we did for each other. That's how you show love. Man, if anybody's still listening to my words on Eugene Nazzarro at 20 minutes, I'm super impressed. Definitely. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. 2019 is the year of something different, and this just proves it. Because last year's 2019 definitely did not have this in the plans. It didn't have, a beautiful young man leaving this world too soon. But I know he's with his sister. I know he's with his family. And I know the love is strong. And the goodness just radiates in the universe, in the world. You can feel it. Like the sun shines a little bit brighter. Every color pops a little bit brighter. You feel a little bit warmer. So please, don't be afraid to love each other. Tell each other you love. And maybe not a stranger, but your friends. Those friends from high school that randomly pop up in your head. Those people that mattered. Those people that made a difference in your life in some way, shape, or form. Please tell them they matter. Tell them that you love them. Please. You hear this from everybody when this shit happens. But I lost my best friend, and I'll never again be able to tell him how much I love him. I'll never again be able to tell him how much he means to me forever. For how much being friends with that 13, 14-year-old little kid that moved into a new town, that didn't have any friends, that didn't know anybody, and that needed something and was lost. A genuine handshake, a handout became the success pattern on which my life was built around. I learned what a loyal friend was. I learned what respect was, given and earned. And you have to tell those people you love them, because you do, because they change you. They give you something. You hopefully give them something back. But when you're changed with things like this, ultimately they're giving you love. And Gene, you always gave me love, brother. And I thank you for it. And like I said earlier, I know where you learned it, because your family is beautiful and strong and wonderful. And I can never imagine what they're going through. And to the Nazzarro family, I send my love, my thoughts, my essence, my everything to you. The pain is something I cannot describe, and I will not continue to try to make something up or make it sound nice to pretend that I do. I just love you, and if you need me, please reach out. I will do whatever I can. Well, that is how I feel about Gene. I'm going to be joining Chris Dietz on the 5th Down Wednesday night. We're probably going to have a nice little tribute about him. It's going to be good to chat it up with another old friend. I kind of wrote some stuff down on mine, but I decided to wing this. This came from the heart, and it felt good. So Wednesday night, right around, I think, 6:30, 6:40 Pacific time, not Pacific like the ocean. I'll be joining him live on the 5th Down. I'll put a link up to this on maybe Facebook. He can put one out on his. But if you guys want to hear more about Gene or call in and talk about him, we can. We can definitely set that up. But yeah, this is going to be something new. I'm back with Facebook and all this stuff. You guys will see it. I love you. Please, if you want to reach out to me. I'm here. I'm open. I'll just be honest. If you don't want to reach out because you might not like to hear the truth about stuff, don't reach out. Don't reach out. But if it mattered and you don't care, we can get places and speak truths and, you know, be honest and loving and friends, hit me up. I love everybody. I miss everybody until you give me a reason to not. Please, I'm here. Thank you guys. And everybody who catches this, if you're going to the service Monday, hold that OK sign up. Hold that OK sign up. Justin knows what it means. Chris and Gene know what it means. Just hold that OK sign up. Throw it. Because everything's all right. Everything's okay. Days are long and beautiful. Just love each other, please. And give those family members of his love and hugs. And tell him I send love. If you can, do me a favor, do me a solid. Send my best friends, family, and everybody around as much love from me as possible because I can't be there. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful day. And Gene, Pats are going to the Super Bowl today, buddy. Write that shit down. I love you.